please enjoy very old, less professional looking, but still trying his best Sam in this video. We didn't have this fancy setup, as those who were here last year will remember well. What he said. Shh, Sam needs to make an opening sting. Hello, and welcome to what is now, I can call, a yearly annual video on the year in review. We've done it 3 times now, and as everyone knows, once you've done something 3 times, it's official. Yep, that's what I tell all my No, you can't say that. But for real, please welcome to what I am hoping is a nice look back on the year that has just been, and a little look forward into what we can hopefully do in 2023. We'll start, as always, by looking back on what I set in last year's video, which, if I've remembered properly, will be in a card somewhere, or there is a playlist on the channel. But yeah, let's look back and see what younger looking and slightly blurrier looking Sam had to say last year. 2021, the year of doing things for myself. It was not, but hopefully, I'm gonna say it again, 2022, the year of doing things for myself. And then now over to, I assume, 2023 Sam to tell me that that was bullshit. 2023 Sam here, that was slightly bullshit. I am not very good at putting time aside for myself. I'm getting slightly better. I thankfully have a lot of great people around me, my friends, my wife, and my community, who will essentially bully me into doing nice things for myself. And so I'm getting there. Maybe in 2024. Roll forward to 2024. We can just keep this joke going forever. I've got lots of ideas for scripted content, and hopefully I can put some of those out. You've seen the channel. I'm looking at it now. The script that you were talking about there, that I still haven't recorded. But I'm going to record this year. Maybe. I didn't. As said previously, I'm not great at putting time aside for myself. And I started a new job in 2022. And it took all of my free time. I no longer had that time that I used to have in work where I could work on things and plan things. That went away because they actually made me do work, it turned out, which I thought was very unreasonable. But now let's look at the actual goals that I set myself. I set myself 4 goals. That's 3. I set myself 4 goals for the stream. So let's go through them one by one. See how that went. First, to the numbers-based achievements. I would like to hit 500 followers on Twitch this year. We didn't quite make it. We made 468 by the end of the year. But, to be honest, whether that's down to bad game choices, bad choices in general on the stream, not being able to put myself out there the way that I would like to because of certain anxiety issues, I don't know. But I don't think it's that much of a problem. Because in terms of numbers-based achievements, I think I've realised that they're not the most important thing to me. Most important thing to me is the people that I meet, and I have met so many amazing people this year who I now get to call permanent community members, so I'm not too fussed about this one. Although you will see in the goals later, I'm still doing this numbers thing. The charity stream that we didn't achieve last year, I am definitely going to do this year. I did it. And I did it as a part of a charity relay alongside some other fantastic streamers right here. One of which is someone, I will not lie, I have looked up to since before I even started streaming. I'm not telling you which one. Some people will know. It's not like I've been secretive about it. But it felt amazing. We raised an amazing total that has really hopefully made some kind of difference in the world. And I am so happy that I got to be part of that. In terms of the stream, I want to make all the improvements I keep talking about making. And in July of 2022, I went live with an entirely new stream upgrade. Fancy new transitions, fancy new graphics, and fancy new sound alerts, which, as you can see, chat took to like a fish to water. Absolutely fuck off. Good old chat. Good work, Trickster.
I'll stop putting vodka in this eventually.
But back to the goals. And finally, just a random one, I'd like to be a GIF. And I think it's probably quite safe to say that that goal was achieved. 3 out of 4 goals. I don't think that's too bad. And the one we didn't pass is potentially the one I am least bothered about. But now we're going to segue into something that is new to these review videos. So now please join me in going through the things I've achieved this year, which I didn't plan for, but I think need celebrating nonetheless, even if just for the way they made me feel. This year, I was tagged in my first ever tweet, unprompted. It was along with my fellow Chaos chumps, who I have had an awesome time playing along with this year, and you should go follow both of them. I also finally finished 2 Soulsborne games, so now we have a ranking system, which I am soon to add to this year, hopefully. As you can see, it's entirely non-controversial. I realised this year how much people actually appreciate what I do, as evidenced here by the wonderful friend of the channel, Nick, when he decided to absolutely destroy any chance of me having coherent thought by dropping 50 subs during my anniversary stream. And I debated dropping this in here. I thought, is this being big-headed? I've decided no, it's not. I'm allowed to celebrate the fact that I've made some fantastic friends during this little venture into the internet. And finally, well, I'm going to let this one speak for itself, because for the first time ever, someone made an edit of me. Like, raid someone at some point, and they're going to have that extension. Ah! Oh, I really need that vodka. So with that completed, let's take a quick detour from the media I've created this year to the media I've consumed. And first up is movies. Now last year, I said this. You can see the list is kind of piddly. And after having said that, at the end of last year, I clearly took it personally, it would seem. Because when I came to make this list, I genuinely couldn't fit them all on a sidebar. Yeah. Oh, it's still going, isn't it? Oh, wow. So when it came to picking my favourite for the year, it was a tough choice. It genuinely was, because I've watched so many good films, but one stood out above all the rest, and it was clearly Morbius. No, I'm sorry, no, I get the meme and everything, and Morbius is not as bad of a film as people say it is, but it is definitely not my film of the year. Don't worry. Now, my actual film of the year will probably surprise some people, especially those in my Discord who've been predicting, because it was very nearly Glass Onion. Glass Onion was very good, and I saw it quite near the end of the year, so I was expecting recency bias to, make it come out on top. But actually, the film that I decided I enjoyed most this year was Death on the Nile. In my opinion, the new Kenneth Branagh Poirot films they just scratch that little itch in my brain that I never know exists until they show up. I have been a long-time fan of murder mysteries, Agatha Christie. I used to watch Morse and Midsummer Murders with my mother, and that was my Sunday for me. So these kind of things will always hold a place in my heart, and I think these new films are really, really living up to what I feel was the heart of those things that drew me into it many years ago. So Death on the Nile is my film of the year. So now I've made that statement that I'm sure is not going to whip any corners of the internet up into a frenzy, let's move on to the games I've played this year, and specifically starting with the games that I've streamed. As you can see, it's been an eclectic bunch. It is much more than I streamed last year, which I think is actually quite good. I've played a nice variety of games here, whereas when I look at last year, it was all very samey. When it came to looking at this lot, picking one was really hard, but I think I went with the one that gave me the best on-stream memories, and that one was Detroit. Now, I wouldn't exactly say my Detroit playthrough went well, as those who saw it will remember. And as evidenced by this. Nothing I've done here has been intentional. None of this was planned. It's gone horribly. But despite all that, I had such a good time playing it on stream. And I think chat had such a good time yelling at me about the stupid decisions I was making. So Detroit definitely is my favourite game I've played on stream this year, even if it was, in the words of the newscaster at the end,
an unprecedented disaster.
And this doesn't appear to be an isolated opinion either, because when I polled my community on their favourite game I'd played this year, well, Detroit came out top of the poll as well. But moving on, let's have a look at the games that I played in my own personal time this year. And I'll be honest, the list is not quite as long, but there's some good ones on there. Special shout out to Gears Tactics at the bottom here, which I started as a Friday first on stream and then continued and played to completion, despite the fact I couldn't exactly say I enjoyed it. But of all of these, if I had to pick a favourite, I would probably say it's Greedfall. I've always been a massive fan of the RPG genre, and Greedfall just came at it from an entirely different perspective that I'd never seen before. Rather than your standard medieval setting, the game is set during the Industrial Revolution in a parallel to the American colonization, and it's such a refreshing take. It was lovely. I really enjoyed it. It had its problems, and I remember going into it thinking, oh, this game was super hyped. I'd been hyped for this game since I first saw the trailer, and then I remember there being disappointment about it, but I went into it with an open mind, and I can genuinely say I had a really fucking good time with it. And I'm really looking forward to any sequel they might want to make. I don't know whether they're going to, but they really, really should. And if any of the press or any media or reviews has put you off playing Greedfall, it's probably cheap enough now that you could give it a go, and I think you should, because it is a great game at its core. It's got some good implementation, it's got some good story. If you can just look past that little bit of jank on the surface, I think it is a solid contender in the RPG genre. But moving on now, let's have a look at the TV I've watched this year. And when I looked at this list, I thought to myself, wow, you really haven't watched a whole lot of TV this year, have you, Sam? But then I remembered all the anime I'd watched, and when you add that in, yeah, the whole thing starts looking a whole lot better. So clearly, all the jokes people make in my Discord that I never watch anime are blatantly untrue. I'll pause here so everyone can go write comments in the Weeb channel of the Discord. But of all of this, and taking both the anime and the TV series together, which one was my favourite? And I had a good think on this because there were some really good contenders this year. There is nothing here that I would class as bad. In fact, most of these here were spot on amazing shows. But the one here that edges all the rest out, it has to go to Attack on Titan. I made a joke in last year's video that I'd only watched the first season and then just completely ignored it for the rest of it. Well, this year, me and my wife absolutely binged the whole lot of them. We are right up to date and we are chomping at the bit for that final season, which I believe is coming very soon, hopefully. So Attack on Titan, my anime of 2022. Again, totally non-controversial. I'm sure no one will have opinions here. So with 2022 behind us, now let's look forward to 2023 and what I would like to achieve in this coming year. First of all, despite what I said previously about numerical goals, I would like to try and hit 600 followers on Twitch this year. I think this is achievable, but if I don't hit it, then I'm not really going to be too bothered. Speaking specifically to you, 2024 Sam, I'm not bothered. Another riff on last year's goals, I would like to do 2 charity streams this year. Probably one in spring and summer, one in autumn winter. I had such a fun experience last time and the impact that I was able to have was amazing. So this year I'm going to aim to double that impact and hopefully use some of this platform I've built up for a good purpose. Next, I would like to continue upgrading the stream and not stagnating. I do have this habit of completing a thing and then deciding it's done and then ignoring it. I want to try and keep making things better. It doesn't have to be a full redo of anything. It doesn't have to be a full rebrand, anything like that. It can just be small changes. As long as I keep making the small changes when I identify them, I will consider this completed. And for my final goal, I actually went to my Discord and asked for opinions, and my good friend Paul had a fantastic one. It's actually one of his goals, I believe. So I'm going to call this the Paul STL inspired goal. And that is to end the year with some new form of skill. It could be video editing, it could be game design, it could be coding, it could be programming, who knows. If I can end next year saying, yes, I can do something that I can't do right now, I will be happy. So there we have it, the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed this little trip through 2022 and I look forward into 2023. Please let me know what your goals are going to be down in the comments. I would love to hear them. Do consider liking and subscribing and all the other things that YouTubers are supposed to say. And also feel free to follow me on my other social medias. It's Samalytical everywhere. I stream on Twitch 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Do come on along, we have a lot of fun there. And a lot of the content that you'll see on the channel is derived from those streams. So if you want to be there and see the chaos firsthand, twitch.tv/Samalytical. And I will see you guys soon, hopefully for another video. Final secret goal of 2023, learn how to end a YouTube video.